So here we have a Squier Affinity two-tone sunburst that I received. It's in okay condition. You can see it's the Affinity Squier Strat. Large headstock. It's a bit dirty. Then I noticed it's got some dirt down there in the jack. And a ding right there. Then I also noticed that the pickups were a different color. You can see the middle one's a little off-white. The other ones are Olympic white. The knobs are extremely dirty. And the bridge tremolo is filthy. So I decided maybe I'll check what's under the hood. As I see the pick guard's a little elevated right there. That means probably a cable was stuck under. Now, I normally do this by hand with a manual screw, but I'm going to use my electric screwdriver today just to unscrew the screw. See how quickly it'll elevate it there? That means something's stuck under there. I don't know what it is yet. So this pick guard, as you can see, has 11 screws. Some of these Squier pick guards accept standard Stratocaster, pick guards, which means they're interchangeable. Not all. There's a very important thing you have to notice, which I'll get into a little further when I show you the screws where they are. But I really want to take this off to see what's under the hood. In order to do this, loosen up the strings. You can take them off, it's up to you. I'm not taking them off because I think I'm going to return this guitar. But loosen the strings as loose as you can without them coming off. And then try to maneuver and pull that pick guard out. You got to make sure that the screws for the pickups don't scratch the paint. You don't want to do that. And sorry for the camera angle, but it's only me. I'll be moving it around in a little bit to show you better. Now it's stuck there because the strings aren't loose enough, and I should have loosened them up a little more, but they're getting stuck on the poles for the pickups. And I think I can jimmy it out, and I'm noticing that it's also the neck pickup wire that is stuck on the wood there. So I moved the wire and took it out, and at first sight I'm seeing that, wow, looks like it's got electromagnetic conductive paint. And also tell they have the small pots or potentiometers. Although I love the fact that they do have, let me fix that cable there. They do have the little divider there. Some EMS sort of tape. It's not bad wiring. The switch is, of course, cheap switch. I would upgrade that, and I'd definitely fix cables from the pickups to a little bit of cable management there so they don't get tied up as it did when I was pulling the pick guard out. Those are the original Squier pickups. Can't really complain. They're not bad. They're not great. I would upgrade them if I were you. If I was keeping this guitar, I would definitely do a lot of modifications to it Hence, that's why we are Squier modders. I've got to return this guitar, so I will leave it as is and return it. Now, one of the first things you should always do is, yes, you buy a guitar, especially from, say, Guitar Center, and it's used, get rid of the strings, give it a good clean, and check what pickups they have in there. More than once, I've run into actually some good pickups that somebody upgraded and never took it out when they sold the guitar to Guitar Center. Check your pots. Also, once you have that pick guard off, make sure all cables are in properly. Just trying to make sure all the cables are in properly when I'm putting the pick guard back in. I don't want to pinch a cable. Again, usually I'd use a manual screwdriver, but it's alright. Just don't go on all the way. One thing that I'll check right after I put the pick guard on is definitely that bridge, or sorry, the tremolo. I see that a lot of these Squiers don't really come intonated. Definitely when you buy it from Guitar Center, very few times they will come tuned. Because what they do is, because of the change in temperature, they loosen up the strings. By the way, it is not January 1st, 2017. I don't know what the issue with my camera is, but it keeps going back to that time. I gotta fix the GoPro on that. Now, if this is your guitar, I would screw everything in manually, just so that you don't want to strip the hole where the screw goes in, because then you have to change the screw, get a bigger screw, and then it's going to look awkward. If it's yours, do it by hand. The other thing that I can tell you here about this pick guard is it's a 3-ply thick pick guard, although it is single ply. As you can see, it's all white. So if I were to describe this, instead of saying it is 3-ply white, I personally would describe it as 3-ply white. White, white, white. That's just me. It's my way of identifying it. Because single ply would be a lot thinner, and you do see it on a lot of like bullet Squiers and stuff if they have the original one on. And this input jack, by the way, has like a rust mark on it or something. So I would definitely change that. I won't say that I love my guitars all relict or all new. I like them just right. Yes, they're going to have dings on them. I don't care. Yes, they're going to have little scratches on them. Again, I don't care. I do like a little bit of relic, not too much. Now, this is a 6-bolt tremolo. Synchronized tremolo is what Fender calls them. If you're going to have a tremolo, I'm not too much of a fan of tremolos. I don't do dive bombs. In fact, I'm not that much of a great guitarist. but I do love assembling and disassembling and building and from scratch guitars and everything, which I'll show you guys in some other episode. The nut on these Squiers is plastic. Look, for a beginner, it's fine. Most Affinities, by the way, or all Affinities, come with 2 string trees. This black plastic it's got right there is, some Affinities bring it, some Affinities don't. I wouldn't make too much of it. The headstock, again, all Affinities that I've encountered have the thick headstock, or some call it pre-CDS headstock. As you can see there, the truss rod. Now this one doesn't have that little black plastic, but it does have the 2 string trees. The logo in the past has changed. I'll try to see if I can find a sample for you guys with old Affinity and the new Affinity so we can compare them. Back cover, again, on this Affinity, you'll see that the screws are parallel, not like on the Fender Stratocasters. But the curious thing is that on another Affinity that I'll show you in a moment, they are exactly like the Fender Stratocaster. These tuners are actually not bad. They're not great. They're great for beginners. That's what you want. That's what you like. They stay in tune. I haven't had any issues with this guitar in particular. Now, a lot of the Squiers, you could tell they have, 3 parts wood. Oh, sorry, there I am showing you the screws for the Affinity on this particular Affinity guitar. Now this is another Affinity. And watch the screws. See how that middle screw or center screws are not aligned properly? Or are not aligned. They are proper, actually. This is the way it should be. That's the way they are on the Stratocaster, the Fender Stratocaster. By the way, I love this blue. I don't know what the name of it is. I gotta look for it online. And that particular Affinity doesn't have the skunk wood in the back. But the cheaper one does. Now, I will say this. The paint job is actually pretty good. I like it. It's very clean. No spots, mistake spots or whatever spots like you've seen in the past on other guitars.